I suck at intros, so don't make fun of me.
That's fine.
And outros. Well, welcome everybody to the very first episode of Andy Asks. I'm your host, Andy, and today we actually have a very special guest. He is a podcaster and a business owner, and he makes clothes, and he is boyfriend to Pau and best friends to Jesus. And now we have Mario from Vive con Huevos podcast. Yeah, and we actually have our live studio audience here. So if you hear them laughing, I hope we got them here.
Let me get a.
We got him sitting down. I know. I told him that he was just going to come
situated
in.
here.
I know. Now he has to put on his headset and. Okay. Hello. Hello, Mario.
Had to get my comfort pillow.
I know.
Sorry.
Even though this is your house, this is my house right now.
This is your territory.
This is my studio for 5 minutes.
Look at me, I'm the captain now.
Exactly. So we actually just got done doing your podcast, which
We did.
Vive con Huevos. If you haven't seen them, go check them out right now.
Go sub.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
all that
Leave
good
this
stuff.
podcast and then go and sub and then watch that episode because it just leads into this episode.
Big facts, yeah.
Yes, because we've just had so much fun. We've had 2 tequila shots, like couple beers, and then
And hopefully tacos after this.
and tacos. If you haven't been to San Diego, Tacos El Gordo, sponsor their podcast because that's all we've been talking about this whole
Please
time.
slide into my DMs.
So Mario,
We're a little desperate.
really?
Just
Are you okay? You have a big ass house. This is like a mansion.
Well, you know.
How does it even work anymore?
Yeah, I just put in the work. I have like 4 jobs.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, hey, you know what, babe? We should buy a mansion.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like,
I mean, you let me borrow your Ferrari, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, we already had the private jet.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Steve Jobs, for. We actually bought Steve Jobs' jet after he died.
And you actually helped them with the iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm a coder. For those of you who don't know,
Yes, he is.
I am a coder. We have AI Jesus.
AI, bro. Like I said in your podcast, it's so weird how you guys set AI Jesus up.
It's really crazy.
It's interesting.
yeah.
And like it just edits itself. Like
It's all part of the programming. Honestly, I'm one of the top engineers in Silicon Valley.
and he's got amazing hair.
Yeah.
You just made his hair look so
I
real.
programmed him the way I wish my beard grew.
Yes.
And the way I wish my hair flowed. Because now I have little entradas.
Yeah.
Are we bilingual in your podcast?
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
so I say now, like I don't have entradas.
We just can't fucking cuss.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Fuck. I don't have entradas anymore. I have salidas.
Oh, got it.
It's like a cul-de-sac.
So it's like what
Just-
you want to look like.
Yeah.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it.
So
So he looks great.
Yeah, just a little shorter.
And then Pau's not even real either.
Mm.
That's just another one of
That's
your
another
inventions.
AI invention that I had. Basically, I'm trying to take over OnlyFans.
Got it.
And now we're trying to dive really deep into the
AI OnlyFans
the AI
space.
OnlyFans
Got
space with virtual reality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you see me clapping cheeks in the living room
It's
with goggles on,
it's nice.
yeah.
And it's just like the image, like how you want the perfect
Yeah,
girl.
it's just we're living in we're slowly getting into a world where everything is AI generated.
yeah.
So why not just fucking full blown, full send Black Mirror in my life?
And you don't think that they're at one point gonna take over your life?
Yeah, but hopefully by that point I'm a millionaire.
Oh, okay, got it. And
well,
you don't have to worry about
more,
it. More of
Of a millionaire than I already am.
Got it.
Billionaire, should I say? Trillionaire, maybe. And by that point, then fuck it.
Damn, this is your podcast to just show off. Huh?
I just like, yeah. I don't like to flex.
Yeah, no.
I don't like. I like to stay humble.
Stumble.
I like to stay humble.
Well, yeah, you're super humble in Vive
Yeah.
con Huevos, but here, like,
No, yeah.
off camera, damn,
Yeah. Just fuck the world. This is,
the world's mine.
yeah, world's mine.
You have the little world from Scarface
Yeah,
in your living room.
you know that picture where it's like the hand over the globe and it has a little. It's like a puppeteer.
That's you.
That's my hand.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. You got the best introduction of Mario from Vive con Huevos podcast. So I guess we'll just talk a little bit of a podcast. So how did that like come to be? for my fans, because I know
Yeah.
we talked about it in your podcast, of course, but now we're trying to bring in new people to your podcast.
All in all, so I'm really not this arrogant. I'm just fucking.
is.
It's just for the bit. But no, so actually, Vive con Huevos really started as a clothing brand after I had to shut down my business back in like 2020.
Oh, okay.
So I've always wanted like something for myself, like my own brand.
And you're wearing your hat right
I
now,
am
too.
wearing my hat. I just
Just
wear it backwards.
Yeah, because you look cool. You look good. You look good.
Yeah, it's that forehead to hair ratio.
Yes.
And you just look like a badass when it's backwards.
Because it looks like a little bit like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get you. You look good. Anyway, sorry.
And I really just wanted my own brand. Excuse me, sorry, it's the beers.
Yeah. I know you made me drink tequila shots too. So
Yeah. And at the time, like I was sad that I had to close the business. Like I didn't know what direction to go in. And I was kind of stalking myself on my Instagram, like as we all do, right?
of course,
Just going down memory lane. And
look at yourself on Google.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Everyone does that.
Yeah.
Everyone's Googled themselves at least
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
And if you haven't, then you're a fucking bullshit liar.
Then you can find your MySpace.
yeah. It's just your photo bucket.
Yeah.
And I actually had Vive con Huevos as on my bio. And I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. And it was kind of like an aha moment.
Got it.
And also at the time, like I really just needed like a push in my life to like kind of take life by the horns, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And I was like, fuck it, like let's just start a clothing brand. And I looked into it. We made it into a full-blown company. We trademarked the name. The first pieces of merch came out. Then we had Bao's cousin in quotes. He was our first photographer, and I reached out to him at the time, and we had a full-blown photo shoot. And at one point during like the lifespan of it being a merch brand or a clothing brand, I really didn't feel like I was doing enough with the brand or with the name.
Yeah, got it.
And I was like, I'm not really living my life by the brand.
Like
I'm
your
just-
own saying.
Yeah, I'm just
Got
kind
it.
of just going with the flow, and like, you know, just it wasn't as fulfilling, I guess I should say. And then I was like, well, fuck it, I had the idea of a podcast, and I was sitting on that for like a few months, if not maybe like a year at least. And then one day I was like, I'm not living by my name or by my brand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just had a full send moment one day, and I bought all the gear to make a podcast. And then we recorded our first, I think three pilots, Jesus, that we recorded? Trying to get like the audio issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those might see the light of day one day.
Patreon.
Yeah.
There you go, Patreon.
And then finally one day we had the podcast with Pat, and it wasn't supposed to come out in November. We just had our 1 year, but it did. So I was like, whatever. And it was just kind of like, it just gradually happened. Yeah.
And then was that saying like Vive con Huevos, was this something you like created, something you read, something a friend told you?
I can't remember when and where it was that it was like, that sparked that moment of like Vive con Huevos.
Got it.
I just remember.
Because it was in your bio. That's why
it
I
was
asked.
in my
I'm
bio,
like,
but I don't remember like how long it was there for. So I don't
okay.
remember like the origins of it. I just do remember. I don't know if I like pieced it together like little by little. And I've always been the type of person to like live my life without. I mean, it's gonna be super cheesy, but without regrets. So I've always been very impulsive. So,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. I've been super impulsive, but to me, it's like, I would much rather live a life where, and it's again, super cheesy, but I'd much rather live a life where I can say, at least I did it, versus, damn, I wish I could have done it. And so
Yeah.
many other people like live their life that way, where, you know, I, backtracking to my life a little bit, like I was in nursing school and I worked in geriatrics a lot. So I was working with a lot of
okay.
older generation, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So a lot of what I like to do, again, going back to the whole podcasting world, is having a conversation with people. So a lot of the conversations that I would have with my patients is, what is the biggest regret you have in your life? And a lot of those conversations where I wish I could have done more of this, or I wish I could have pursued this career, or I wanted to be a dancer, but my parents wanted me to be a lawyer or shit like that. And I
That's
was like,
interesting.
you know, I don't, yeah, and I didn't want to get to my older years and be like, damn, I should have done podcasting, or I should have done content creation, or I should have just been happier. I think that's the ultimate goal, or the ultimate thing in my life is just I just want to be happy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. Yeah, because I mean, even the saying like "Vive con huevos," yeah, it means like do your best. I mean, like do what you want to do. Like, yeah, and exactly, live with no regrets. And it's funny because my quote on my Instagram is like, "Don't live with shoulda, coulda, woulda."
Yeah,
Like, because yeah, it's true. Like, we only do have one life, and that's exactly what we need to do. And I think I do remember going to like volunteering at a nursing home and being like, dude, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to like. I want to die in a mansion. Like,
you want to die here?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it was sad to say, but I met some really cool people there. They were nice and like, but I was like, nah, like I'm trying to. And we had the talk on your podcast that like, we just, I don't know if we're manifesting it or we're like we want more.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it is. I think we just not need to manifest, and we need to believe like, yeah, we want more, we deserve more.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the back part of manifestation is actually putting the work into it, but also a lot of manifestation is believing in yourself that you can achieve, or you see yourself where you ultimately want to be, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of that was like, a lot of what I was going through during that time was a lot of like self-doubt because I had to close the business. And again, it was prime COVID, so a lot of it wasn't my fault or our fault.
Which it was like a Vitality Bowls, right? Which was
a superfood cafe. So like we had like we sold like acai bowls, smoothies.
Okay.
A lot of the healthier stuff, all the stuff that I should have been eating, but I wasn't.
You would still go to McDonald's.
I
right
would.
around the
I was so
corner?
stressed out that I would
Yeah.
just go to McDonald's, or around the corner we had a brewery and you'd catch me there. You know?
Of course.
Yeah. So a lot of the manifestation is just like, I wish I could be there, but how can I get there? Right.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess this kind of goes into my first real question is like, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, was this, I don't know if you ever saw yourself being a podcaster, or maybe you saw yourself being a nurse, or.
So it's funny. I think being like first gen in general, like my parents came to this country with dreams and aspirations, right? So they never wanted me to struggle like the way they struggled there in their country, right? So a lot of the push was for me to be a professional in this world. So it was either like a lawyer or a doctor,
Yep.
or, you know, all the typical
Things that make money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would not struggle even though I didn't like it, right? So I did do that. You know, I was in nursing school for a pretty long time, but I just wasn't happy. And when I was little, I actually wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like your story. Like
Yeah.
my dad really loved Top Gun. And I think growing up and seeing that, like I wanted to be a pilot. Like I wanted, again, going back to me being cheesy, like spreading my wings and just being able to fly.
Got it.
Which
yeah.
is funny because my dad's nickname for me is pájaro.
Interesting.
Bird, yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you non-Spanish
Yeah,
speaking.
non-Spanish.
Is bird. So it was all kind of like when I was little, I was like, oh, it all makes sense. My dad calls me pájaro. I want to be a pilot. Like to me, like flying is the ultimate symbol of freedom. Right?
Yeah.
You just can go wherever you want, whenever you want. You just pick up and go. And then after that, it just kind of evolved. And I always wanted to be a pilot up until high school. And when you're in high school, I guess, at least for my parents, like they're coming from El Salvador. When they're equivalent to high school, that when you're in high school, you have to already kind of know where you're gonna where you want to be in your life.
Yeah.
So your high school classes kind of are similar to what you want. So let's say, for example, you want to go into nursing, you're already taking like similar nursing classes
Like
in high school.
sciences and things like that. Yeah.
So when I was in high school, my mom was like, no, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to do this because her brother's a doctor. So I was like, okay, well, fuck it. It's good money and get to save lives. And I kind of changed my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't want to be a doctor. Like, let's just try nursing. Because to me, it was always like whenever I'd go to the doctor, like you really don't see the doctor as much. And I still wanted to like, I still wanted to like make a change and have an impact on people's lives. So I wanted to be a nurse because a nurse, for the most part, spends a lot more time with the patient than the doctor does.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then after that, then I went into college and things just kind of I did my internship. I think I dropped out like a year and a half before I actually graduated with my bachelor's.
Oh, so you were like really close to it.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
there. Like
got
there's this ongoing joke in my friend group that I was almost a nurse. Like, trust me, I was almost a nurse. Like something happens, I was like, oh yeah, take an Advil. Trust me, I was almost a nurse.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you can like heal people. It's just like not officially.
Yeah.
Got it.
You can't come back and tell me, hey, I fucked up because of you. It's like, I told you I was almost a
I was
nurse.
almost
Yeah.
like it's your fault. You believed me.
Yeah. I didn't specifically put that Advil into your mouth. You did that on your own.
You know, it's funny. Like, we talked about it in your podcast, but my mom, she's sick. She's in a wheelchair, and I remember she's like, why don't you? Because I would help her. I would help her translate, like with the doctors, nurses, and stuff. I'd be like, oh, te dijo esto and blah blah blah, and like she believed me. I don't know, but I remember she was like, well, why don't you become a nurse or a doctor? And like I was like, maybe that is something I could do. But then I just really started thinking about it. I'm like, I feel like I can't give bad news.
Yeah.
I feel like unfortunately, a lot of the times when you go to the doctor, you get bad news. I was like, I don't want to tell people like someone's dying or they're dying or they have this and that. I'm like, I'm tooting my own horn, but I feel like I'm too funny to tell them like, you got cancer. Like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm like, I don't know how I would tell somebody. Like, I don't know.
It's a really hard profession when it comes to that. Cause but at the
all respect to all the doctors and nurses, because they go through a lot.
Yeah, no, my props to everybody in that field, because it really does take a special type of person to be able to not only like bring that type of news to somebody, but also stomach all the stuff that you're seeing throughout the day. Like, to me, it became very natural to see a dead body, or
because you were a killer back in the day.
I was, yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
What is that? Good Doctor, the one with the guy from Bates Motel.
Oh,
nurse.
Yeah. Well, it's Bates Motel, but yeah.
But the main guy.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but
Norman.
yes.
Anyways, but he's in where he kills his patients, right?
Yes.
But anyways, so it just becomes supernatural to like see a dead body, or like help somebody that's in oncology and like basically clean them.
Yeah.
And then go to lunch 15 minutes later. To me, that became normal.
Is that what you were in mostly?
Towards the end of my career, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was dealing a lot with geriatric oncology. So, I mean, death was a part of my everyday life.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, you would go into a room and I would just go, yep, here's another one.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. So, actually, I mean, and it's crazy because it's like, even like for some nurses, and it's funny because we had this bit in Vive con Huevos where like a lot of the nurses and CNAs are hoes. But in a way also, you just become so detached, or I don't know what the right word is, but to sex.
Like desensitized
to like sex, because then the human anatomy just becomes so
like an everyday
an everyday thing that you're like, oh, pair of titties, all right, whatever, or I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just the way I thought of it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. There's also, I mean, other people who are like,
all the nurses listening, they're like, what?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? I look
Ew.
big. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I know I've seen a dead body, but I can't imagine like every day having to be like, oh yeah, they're not here anymore.
Yeah. What's that movie, Stand By Me? Is like, you want to see a dead body?
Oh yeah. You want to see a dead? Yeah, dude. That's fucking wild. And now you're here doing podcasts.
Now I'm in a whole ass other world.
Which is interesting, right? Because I feel like, especially like people who want to do social media actors, or they like have like their regular jobs. Mm-hmm. But then they're like, nah, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah.
So you went from like dead bodies to talking about dead bodies.
Yeah. It's weird how that transition went.
Yeah.
I feel like I was also very animated when I was younger.
Got it.
Like I was always the class clown, or I was always the one that made my family laugh. Or like whenever we would have like family dinners, or after family dinner, we would always watch Univision together.
Got it. Yeah.
My dad would be watching the news, and my mom would be cleaning up. My sister was doing homework, and I was just bullshitting because I had homework, but I just wasn't doing it.
That's funny.
And I would always do skits for my families.
That's funny.
For my families. Well, I mean,
how many multiple families?
I don't know. My dad was a hoe, but for my family, I'd always do like skits making fun of my dad.
Oh, that's funny.
So like I would pretend
he didn't hit you.
No, yeah, and it's funny. So
You're like,
a, lot,
yeah, good.
a lot of my bits were my dad being mad and hitting us. So I remember I had this one bit where I would pretend to take off my belt and being mad, but once I would I would pretend to like jack the belt right and just it's not coming off, and as soon as I would like take it completely off, I would just spin around like a trompo, like a top, and that was my bit. And like I think I always found peace at making other people laugh, or like in the
Got it.
entertainment world. I never wanted to be an actor because I didn't think like I had the skills enough to like portray other people or portray other, other things in general. That I think podcasting is just like kind of my outlet for that.
Got it.
Because I can be funny, but I can also be myself.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like I really resonate with your podcast, because you were like, I mean, your very first podcast, as we talk about it, like it was really, you really got deep into that one, and you talked about yourself, you talked about your struggles, what you went through, and then I mean, there were some tears even with Pat, and like I was like, damn, I was just listening to on my way to work, and I was like, why do I feel like crying on my way to work? I was like, damn, like what's up with this?
Yeah, it's a very powerful podcast, and I've actually only listened to it twice.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first time that it came out, and then one more time when we had Pat again, because he's a reoccurring guest.
Yeah.
And he was our 40. He was supposed to be our 40th guest, but he was our 41st shit. Our 41st guest. And I was like, okay, well, let's kind of circle back on how we've grown throughout the year. And I was listening to that podcast, and I was like, fuck, that was sad.
And it's funny. That's why I listened to the episode 1, because you were, I think one of the, like within the first 5 minutes, you're like, let's talk about episode 1. And I'm like, oh fuck, I think they're gonna be talking about episode 1 a lot. I'm gonna go back. And like, then I started watching it, and then I went back to the other episode. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, now you kind of know.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, poor Mario. I wanted to give you a hug the whole time. No, and it's funny, and I feel like that's why I love podcasts. Other than listening to them, like I love talking to people. I love seeing their stories, hearing what they've gone through, their struggles, but also having fun.
Yeah.
And like my thing, which I always feel like I get scared of, is there's 8 billion people in this world. And I'm like, right now we're talking, and there's 8 billion other lives happening. And I'm just like, how? Like, that just doesn't seem natural to me. Like, there's literally like 8 billion, and we're never, ever in our lifetimes gonna meet even half the people in this world. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's fucking insane. Like, that just gets me. Like, I just feel so small. Like, especially being from Yuma, like there's like 100,000, 200,000 people in that city. And I'm like, there's 8 billion people out there. And I'm like, I just want to talk to like that 0.001, which are all my friends, people I find interesting, people who make me laugh, people who I want to talk to, like on this podcast. Yeah. And I'm like, it just always amazes me.
It's crazy because I have random moments with Pau. And Pau's my girlfriend, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Comadre Pau, for those of you guys who know Vive con Huevos.
Shout out.
Sometimes we'll be like driving down the street, or we like to people watch.
Yeah.
We're like, sure. We're like drinking coffee somewhere, or we're, whatever it is. We're just people watching. I'm like, isn't it crazy how like that random person that just got that coffee has a life? Like right now, they went into that coffee shop, they ordered, and you don't know like what kind of problems they're going through.
Yeah, exactly.
Or what just happened prior to them coming to that coffee shop, and now they're going home to their family or to wherever it is, and they're gonna they have this whole other life.
They have another life. Yeah, like what?
And you're just a small speck in their universe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, crazy to me. Yeah, I feel like I'm high half of the time.
Yeah, bro. Like, and I think it's crazy. Like, for you to run into somebody like that same person twice in your life, like someone you don't know. Of course, you're just like, wow, like I remember this guy or this person. Like, I'm like, that's just crazy.
Or how many times you're somewhere with somebody that you eventually end up meeting. So I just had this conversation with one of my coworkers. We were talking about Coachella, and I was like, oh yeah, the last time I went was 2 years ago. And he's like, oh, I was there. And he's like, what'd you think about the Swedish House Mafia set? And I was like, dude, I loved it. And it's so crazy. I was like, if I would have known this person like 3 years ago, like we could have met up at Coachella. And now 3 years later, I was like, oh yeah, dude, I was at that same set. That's cool. The same weekend.
Bro, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos, but when it's like a city, a random city in the United States, and then it zooms out and it's the U.S., then it's a planet, then it's just like, no,
Just
it's
keeps
Jupiter,
going,
and then
yeah.
it's the universe, and I'm just like, dude, oh my fucking God. Like, and that's why I think it kind of goes into this. Like, I don't understand how people like just want to stay in one place.
Mhm.
Like, I'm too poor to move places. So, I mean, if I could, I would. But like, it's just crazy that like people don't want to experience like other places.
Which is, it's funny for you to say that because I was definitely, if you would have met Mario 6 years ago, I was definitely the type of person to be like, I'm never leaving San Diego.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 6-7 years ago, Mario would have been like, no, fuck that. I'm a San Diegan for life. Like, no, I'm not leaving this place. First of all, I had like the business.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like I had business ties to my dad's business.
Got it.
And I'm very much, I love my family, but I love my family like at a distance, but I still want you near enough for if something happens, then I'm here.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, when Bao and I first met, Bao's a huge adventurer. She's like, let's go this place. Let's go over here. We got to go visit this. And I'm also
She'll be like skydiving.
yeah. or she'll be like, I want to move to like Europe for a year. And I'm just over here like, yeah, but like my mom's here, you know? I don't want to go. But now, Mario, I'm just like, fuck this. Like, take me to the Amazon. I'll live anywhere. I'll live under a tree, under a bridge. Like, fuck it. Vive con huevos.
Dude, yeah. Honestly, I mean, my wife like loves Yuma, and she's really family oriented. Like, we probably meet up with her family every single weekend. For my family, it's like like a birthday or something. But like for me, I'm just like, let's move. Like, let's just go somewhere. Like, not know anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been the new kid in school. Like, I went from elementary to junior to high school, and with like the same people. So I'm like, I know everybody. Like, my 10-year high school reunion's happening this year, and I'm just like, I know what everybody's doing. Like, everyone puts everything on Facebook. Like, everyone's still here in Yuma. But for her, she's like, no, but our family's here. I'm like, nah, let's fucking go. We'll be homeless in San Diego. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah,
like,
we have an extra room.
well, babe, let's do it.
I'm just saying.
No, and that's fucking crazy, dude. And okay, so that kind of leads me into the other thing. Like, with your podcast, what made you decide to pick like Jesus?
I just think that
We'll first go there and then we'll go.
With Jesus, it was more of I'm a very loud person, and I can talk my ass off, and especially in like the first few episodes, like you can really tell like I was just yapping away. I would cut off Jesus. I would cut off guests. Like I didn't listen to what was actually happening or going on. I was just like, oh fuck, I had this next topic, or I just thought of something. Like I'm gonna cut you off. I don't care. I'm gonna keep talking.
Like it's my turn.
Yeah, and Jesus is very much like a listener. He's like, let me embrace what you're saying. Let me take it all in. And then Jesus is like I feel like Jesus is a philosopher. And it's like, he says a lot without saying a lot. Versus I say a lot and I don't say anything.
Like you didn't mean anything.
Yeah. Like I'm just talking to talk.
Got it.
And out of all my friends, Jesus is the one that I've known the longest. I've known Jesus since kindergarten. And I was like, well, that's pretty fucking dope. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah,
that they're friends
for sure.
with somebody from kindergarten. And I was like, what a better way to start a podcast than with someone that has known me basically my entire life. And high school, Jesus and I, we went our separate ways. We went to 2 different high schools, but then we like reconvened after.
Okay.
So it was also pretty cool to like, he lived a different life and I lived a different life.
Yeah.
Because we went to private school from kindergarten to 8th grade. And then he went to public school. I stayed in private school. So it was also like very cool to see how like all that dynamic worked and like different stories and
because he's all cholo and stuff. Like
but
of public school.
Yeah, he's hella cholo.
Yeah, no, he's scared, bro. Outside,
honestly,
he took off his shirt full of tats.
Blasted.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
He has the entire map of San Diego.
Yeah, he's got his last name on his back.
He got Yuma on his back now
yeah,
too.
yeah, bro. I was all scared. I was like, oh shit. I hugged him and he was like about to punch me. I was like, no,
he doesn't
no.
like hugs.
Yeah,
he doesn't like physicals.
I was super scared.
Unless your name is Pam. Can we put her name out there?
Instead of beep, like just beeping it out. Okay, and then now why Pow? Other than being your significant other,
yeah.
of
Well,
course.
she lives here, so
It's kind of just like
I was like, stop making noise. Just fucking get on the mic, girl.
She kept making outside comments.
And the first few podcasts, you'll hear her like making like quesadillas and stuff. Like she'd come from working out, and she's like, just gonna make a smoothie.
Like,
It's just flipping me off. And I was like, you know what? In order to shut her up, I'm just come on the pod, babe.
Just come talk, Arby.
Bowles has actually been one of my biggest supporters in all of my crazy adventures. Like, I honestly want to start a business every other day.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm definitely the type of person. You know what? We should just start selling socks. Fuck it, I would sell socks. And she's like, well, if you want to do it, just do it. You know,
Just hurry up.
yeah, just make money so I can stop working.
Yeah.
But Bao has been a very big supporter since we've met, basically.
Okay.
And then, I mean, she has a lot to say, and we're very similar. She's a little bit more conservative than I am. But in her first episode, when we released it, a lot of people were like, I love yours and Jesus' dynamic, but I also loved hearing Bao's take on things. Because it also gave us like a very feminine approach to things. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Which was very dope. And in my opinion, I was like, oh, that's freaking sick too. Like, my girl's into it. And at first she didn't really want to be into it. She's like, no, like, I'm just going to do like, we originally had the Comadreando section. For those of you who don't know, we have a Comadreando. It's called Comadreando Pao.
It's fucking wild.
It's crazy where our listeners send in.
People have sex with their suegros.
Dude, it is crazy.
Or suegras. Both. Yeah, both.
Both, yeah. But people send in their stories and it's anonymous to us and the listener, basically. So
Yeah,
we don't
which
know,
is
we don't
cool.
know who it is, and I mean, we don't know who's sending it in.
Don't lie.
Yeah, low key.
You have all their Instagram.
We
their
have
social-
everything. Yeah,
their
we
social
we
medias.
gather all their data.
Yeah.
Again, I'm an engineer. So.
You've been hacking since they came in. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer, guys. I dropped out.
I dropped out.
And once we already had that kind of in mind. So her first episode was kind of like a test run. It's like, let's see how you like it. Let's see how you feel. And at first she was kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to be on the podcast. Let's just do the segment. And I'll come in for the segment and hop out. And I was like, no, just do the full run. Let's just try it. And she kind of liked it. And then we got a lot of good feedback. And I was like, well, I guess you're in now. You have no other choice. The people have spoken. Yeah. And then that's kind of how it evolved. And like we just said, like the first, I think 3 episodes were just kind of too sad.
Got it.
And that's also not my personality.
Yeah.
Like, I can be like very emotional
Really,
and
we've
sentimental.
cried like 5 times today together.
Yeah, but now we're being serious. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got it,
you
got it,
you
got
get me? Like, I have like 5 moments of sentimental, and then I'm like, I got to be tough now. Yeah.
Get back in there.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then I was like, this isn't also me. Like, I love to be like sentimental and like give that type of value to the world, but I also like to be a jokester.
Yeah.
So I was also, how else can I incorporate that into the podcast? And I didn't want to do that with guests, because I was like, I also want to shine light on the guest as a person.
Yeah.
And not just joke around with them the entire hour and a half, 2 hours.
Got it. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's bring in a segment or episodes where it's just Jesus, Bao, and I, and we're just fucking shooting the shit, talking crap, and like we have the Comadreando section.
Yeah.
And then we also have episodes where we bring in, people like you, or people in the creative space, or whatever it is in their respective industry, and we talk about them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I know your podcast is still growing and it's still getting bigger and bigger, but has there been a moment when you're like, yeah, like I want to keep doing this? And like maybe someone commented, or you've been seeing like growth or something where it'd be like, yeah, we're doing the right thing.
It always happens whenever we have guests, I try to keep the reels more on the motivational side. A big part of that reason is because I feel like we live in such a big social media era.
Yeah.
That we're just constantly comparing ourselves to other people, right? That we tend to forget that these influencers that we see online, or these creatives that we see online, are also human beings.
Yeah.
And
for sure. Yeah.
we tend to forget that they also have issues. And it also took a lot for them to get to the point to where they're at right now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Versus just snapping their fingers and boom, they're famous, right? And that I try to like put that into the podcast too. And then whenever I make reels, like let's say I invite a special guest, I try to keep them more on the motivational side of like, hey, this person is a human being. Like, look, you can do this too. And whenever I put those out, I always get like comments, or I get like DMs like, damn, I really needed that, or I didn't know that about this person.
Yeah.
And that kind of keeps me going, where it's like, yeah, we can shoot the shit all we want about Jesus and I, but what else is there? What kind of value am I bringing into the world?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then when I get those comments or I get those DMs, that's where it really motivates me more to keep going. because I'm also providing a value to that someone else that I don't know.
Nice. And then I'm pretty sure other than the comments, I'm pretty sure do you get those random DMs when like, hey bro, like I really need to hear this, like
Oh yeah, especially in the beginning.
more anonymous, of course.
Yeah. Well, it happened a lot when it was just the clothing brand. Because when it was just a clothing brand, like I would post like random quotes, or my captions were pretty long, or I would try to make a reel or a story that brought a lot more motivation to somebody, or whoever the listener or whoever it was that was reading our content or seeing our content.
Yeah.
And that's when I would get a lot more of it, a lot more of those DMs.
Okay.
Or it was like, damn, I really needed that. Or I was having a rough day. You have no idea how much I needed to see that quote. So that really just does give me a lot more like of a push to keep going.
Got it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I even tell you, I really like your guys' podcast because you do go deep, but then you do have fun. You guys have like those moments like comadreando, and then you guys have like whatever people say, and then you guys just have funny moments amongst each other.
Yeah.
Pau almost died, but she survived, and she's here. Like you guys almost died together.
Yeah.
Like what's up with that? Like together, but now you guys survived, and now
That's
you're
how
both
that's how
here.
you know you're a real couple.
Now you guys are Vive con Huevos
Yeah,
for sure.
literally.
You guys are doing it.
We're literally put on this world for a reason. We did not die.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And you guys both lost your phones, or
So luckily, well, Pao lost her phone.
oh,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna give context. Sorry. So they went to
Yeah.
Glamis in last month, I guess now, and you guys flipped in a
Can-Am.
in a Can-Am.
In a sand buggy. Yeah.
which is fucking wild.
Yeah. What's fun though. So I mean, I've gone to the I love off-roading.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like the sand dunes and stuff like that. Like I love it. And I had been wanting to go back, I think, ever since I met Pao, and I hadn't been back since. So yeah, so we flipped in the Can-Am. But Pao was taking a video because I was in charge of the music.
Okay.
And when I noticed that we were gonna flip, I held on to my phone for dear life. I was like, I am not dropping another 1,800 on the phone.
Yeah.
I was like, hell no. So I held on to my phone. Pao had her phone and a friend's phone in her hands.
Oh damn.
So as before, like a split second before we flipped, she was handing our friend her phone back. So
oh shit. Okay.
during the flip, Pao lost her phone. Like she says she has this moment of like vivid clarity where like we're like flipping in the Can-Am and she sees her phone just yee. So a piece of her just lives in the sand dunes forever.
Sand dunes forever.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Well, badass that you guys are here
Yeah,
to
that's a
talk
cool. I
about
mean, it's a cool story.
Yeah.
It gave us a bit.
Yeah.
It definitely gave us a bit. But then my phone cracked. So when I was holding it, I hit it somehow on the roll cage. And actually my finger was like bruised for a minute. But when I hit the roll cage, it cracked my entire screen.
Oh shit.
So I
Okay.
couldn't. There was like one sweet spot, but I couldn't like put in my password.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So luckily, like I was able to recover like all my pictures and videos, but
Damn.
I couldn't use it after that. Like I couldn't take any more pictures or any more content.
No wonder I kept texting him like, "Oh, okay, we're not friends
So maybe I
anymore."
know. I guess we're just not gonna talk. We're just
Yeah, I
gonna
was like,
ghost
alright
me like
then.
that. You're
Yeah.
too cool. You're too richness for me now.
Yeah, I was like, all of a sudden you get a Can-Am. But that's fucking. And then, dude, like Pao had 2 like life death experiences.
Yeah, I keep thinking like she just wants to die. Like she. She can just break up with me if she doesn't want to be with me. She doesn't have to.
You don't have
die.
to fake it.
Yeah, Thank Jesus.
She's just going over.
Yeah, she's just, let me just die real quick. It's like,
That's fucking.
there's other ways of getting out of a relationship, guys.
Hey, don't fake your deaths, guys. Just break up with the person.
We actually did have a submission into Comadreando where someone, I think it was someone's girlfriend, faked their death
What?
and ended up in like Mexico somewhere, right? Yeah. Ended up in Mexico. And like the only reason he found out was because he was scrolling through TikTok and she had posted a TikTok.
Oh shit!
He's like, what the fuck? I
This
know
whole
you.
time?
Yeah.
Imagine, dude. You
Yeah.
think like this person's dead, and then like you
You
just
just show up
roll
on TikTok,
scrolling
yeah.
on TikTok. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's wild. Like, do you stay loyal to them? Like,
No.
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 Well, but when you think they're dead, like you're like, well, I should wait like a year.
I would like slide into their DMs and be like, hey, I thought you died. You know, like,
Hey, so you still want to be together?
Are
or
you still down or what are we?
have a whole? Yeah, what are we now? Have a
I
whole
haven't dated
family and
since.
shit.
Yeah.
That's fun. You want to take a little break?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. Let's take a little break.
Andy, pause.
And hello, we're back. And then so this is gonna be something I'm gonna try on my podcast, and
Yeah.
it just depends if people can actually find things. So it's gonna be like an Andy show and tell because I'm just interested in people learning more about them. So before we go there, I just need to know what type of person you are. When someone sends you a video, like hypothetically, I send you a random TikTok, a random Instagram, and you already saw it. What's your first words?
Damn, that's crazy.
Okay. So I just wanted, are you the type of person to like tell them, oh, I already saw it? Or do you go along with it?
It depends on who it is.
Got it. Okay.
It depends on who it is. So if it's like, so I have a TikTok addiction,
Yes.
and I can be on that thing for hours,
Same.
days.
Yep.
If TikTok ever needs to hire somebody that's just scrolling through TikTok like a QA guy,
Yeah.
that's me. Hire
That's
me.
it. Got
yeah.
it. Okay.
Again, I'm an engineer, so
I code.
yeah, I code. So it really just depends on who it is. So like, let's say like for Bao, like Bao has her own For You page that I've sent her.
Got it.
So if she sends me like a TikTok that I've already seen, I'm like, I already seen it. I already liked it, babe. Versus if it's like a homie that like I really don't talk to like that much, I'm like, like I'll react to it. Like I'll send
Got
like
it.
an emoji or something. Like I try not to like shit on people's dreams.
Like I try to be nice.
Yeah, because I feel like, well, they send it to you because they thought of you in the moment.
Yeah,
you know, they're
yeah,
like,
for
oh,
sure.
Andy would love this, and like they'll send it to me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be the type of person like, oh, I already saw that shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't bother me with your presence.
I just feel like, I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's two type of people. The people that say, oh, I already saw it. Or like, ha, they just go along
Yeah.
with it even if they already saw it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like, if I know I've seen it, I definitely just send them the reaction emoji. Like I'll like hold it down and like send them the laughing face.
Okay.
And then yeah,
You're
just-
one of the good ones.
Yeah, I try to be nice.
You try to be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So now.
the only thing that I don't like. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Oh, no,
off.
you're good. You're good.
I don't like when people don't like, take hints.
Okay.
Like if you're sending me, especially if I don't talk to you like that, like if you're sending me reel after reel after reel after reel, and you don't see me like react to like any of them, just stop.
I feel like me and you send like one or two like once in
Yeah.
a while, but we don't like, because I do have
Yeah.
like friends, shout out Alec and Dwayne and all the homies that they send like a bunch of them. I watch them. And Nick and Manny, oh my God, I have a lot.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I watch most of them, guys, I promise. But yeah, no, I go with
Yeah,
you.
no, the same thing. Like my best friend, he sends me like a solid like 20 a day, and I'll watch them, but like I'm reacting to them. But he also knows what I think is funny.
Yeah.
So he gets my humor. Versus like there's some people in my life that like just send me like, I shit you not, they'll send me 20 in a day, and I'll be like, dude, I haven't reacted to the last 20 you sent me. What
Yeah.
makes you think I want to see these?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. And I hate to be mean, but it's just like it is what it is. If I don't like you that way, then it's kind of like just stop, bro.
It's funny. I go to my TikTok and I'm like, oh, cool, 40 notifications. People must like my video. Nope, all my friends sending me videos.
Just sending you stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so now this part of the podcast, I told him, hey, can you bring something, an item or something that you really treasure and that you really have a story of and why you have this item? So, Mario.
So that was I think that's harder than the questions that I asked on my podcast.
Got it. And that's why I feel like, I mean, I'm a materialistic guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like we all have like that one thing that's like, I'm going to keep this forever.
So it's more of a sentimental value, and I really struggled with this when you told me. It's like, hey, do this. Like I want something for the show and tell, and I was like, fuck, what do I show him? First of all, like I try not to be like super cluttery,
Got it.
and then Bao doesn't let me be cluttery at all. Like if it doesn't go with the aesthetic, then
Is my wife and Pao like
I think they're related.
or
Yeah,
something?
I think
Damn.
we were long lost brothers. Like if you had a beard, like we'd totally be brothers. Bro.
Yeah. And then they're related.
Yeah, and they obviously are the same type of person.
Because it's funny, right before we started the podcast, it was something that my wife would do. You got up and then she's like, fixed the pillows. And like, I was like, God damn it, Marley, what are you doing here?
I'm 2 hours away from you.
Yeah, I was like, I got away from you today.
And if it doesn't go with the aesthetic in the house, then it doesn't, you know.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
I try to have Funko Pops in here for like the past 2 years.
Just hide it. Just put it.
They're hidden definitely in the garage. I can't even have them upstairs where nobody sees them. So I definitely did struggle with this because I'm definitely more of a I feel like I'm an emotional support animal. I hold on to things as far as like pictures
Got it.
or like videos. I think that's why I like taking pictures and videos so much, because it's like I like looking back at things.
Yeah. Okay.
Versus material possessions, I feel like I don't tend to hold on to those very much. Also, because I'm very forgetful. And I like half of the time I'll be like, babe, where is this? And she's like, you threw that away like a year ago. And I was like, no, it was right here yesterday. So like, oh shit, my bad. When it comes to like material things, I don't hold on to them as much.
Got it. Okay.
But as I was like thinking of what I could show you, I was like, what is it? Like, what else can I show you? You know? And I was telling Pao like yesterday too, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, my water bottle, my dog. Like, do I bring my Jeep in here? Yeah. And I actually like thought about it today, and I was like, what's something that I've had for the past few years that I've actually like, I actually do probably like on a weekly basis go back and look at. And it's actually this little book right here, which is a journal.
Okay.
I was gonna start crying. So, funny story about this journal. I got it when I started Vitality Bowls, and I was like, I'm gonna start journaling every single day. And then little backstory on the stickers. Well, obviously, this Vive con Huevos stickers is actually the first sticker that I printed.
Nice. Okay.
And then the grape soda one, I'm a huge Up fan. The Disney Up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we got it when Bao and I first got our Disney passes in one of our first trips. Did you buy it for me, baby? Oh yeah, she bought me the journal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she might have brought you the sticker.
So the point is, this journal is just very sentimental to me.
Yes.
And then, so I got it when with Vitality Bowls, and then Bao has like a little note in here that says "I love you," and then I graffitied it with Huevos. But I'm going back to everything. Like, I'm just getting a little backstory to this. Like, I'm very sentimental to everything. Everybody knows that on my podcast. Like, actually, there's something in the podcast in Comadreando where it's like, what would you tell your 25-year-old self? They submitted that question into Comadreando. And then on the bottom, it's like, don't be cheesy, Mario. It's like, damn, that's who I am, though. But
You leave Mario alone.
yeah. So, actually, yeah. Sí, cierto. Pao got me this because we were like very into like journaling and like jotting down like different ideas. And then I started journaling, and I actually started like jotting down notes wherever they are for Vive con Huevos, like what I wanted for the brand before it even became the clothing brand.
That's crazy. Okay.
And actually, I have the note in here somewhere. I had to look for it. It's like one of the pockets, but it's a sticky note that I got that I had when I first started Vitality Bowls, and it was, "This is going to be a great adventure."
From Up.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
And I wrote it and I tore it out, and it's in here somewhere. I just got to look for it. But basically, like, everything that is sentimental to me is in here. So like my first notes about Bao, how I felt like throughout the week, you know, if I was having a shitty day.
Yeah.
And also that note is actually I hold dear, because at first it was like, this is going to be a great adventure as far as like the business. But now I look back at it and I was like, well, no, life should be your great adventure.
Great adventure,
you know, like, I had the business, and at first I thought about it. When we closed it, I was like, fuck, I'm a failure. And then Bao was like, well, no, you actually had a great experience doing it. And I was like, you're right, I did. And then now throughout my life, that's just kind of how like I guide myself through everything, is like, everything should be a great experience.
Oh yeah.
And that note and like this book is kind of like my reminder every single day to live life in that way. Like, life is just one big experience, and treasure it, because you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Pao almost dying like 50 times these past 2 months.
Faking it.
Yeah, she's faking it. She's faking it so I can love her more, I think. You know?
Oh, it's all her plan.
Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah,
man.
when I was thinking about it, I was like, what do I have that I've had for the past 5 years that I haven't like thrown away? And it's this book. And like, I haven't even finished it. Like, honestly, I think I stopped writing in it once I closed the business. But it's something that I look back at and I'm like, damn, I really did have a great adventure, and I keep having a great adventure.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like how you said, you're all about experiences now.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That's a badass share. Then
Yeah.
the stickers and then everything that represents.
Yeah.
It's crazy how one little thing, right, can represent like
Yeah, no,
your whole life.
I honestly was like beating myself up. I was like, what can I show him? Like, what do I have of value? And I really was about to just pull out Olivia and be like, I love my dog.
Oh, and see,
Yeah.
I know people are gonna try that, but that's why I try to do it like an item.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm trying to, because I know I love my dogs too, but like I was like something like that you find treasure, and that's beautiful, dude. That's badass.
Yeah, and even though like I don't write in it, and I actually thought about it like maybe like about a month ago, because I always keep it in my backpack, in my work backpack. I always keep it
So
with
it's
me.
always with you, no
It's
matter
always
what.
with me, no matter what. Yeah, and it's actually like the one thing that I never take out because I carry 2 notebooks around, and the other one's just for like daily tasks and things like that. But this one never leaves my backpack, and it's kind of like I only like bring it out whenever like I'm having a real shitty day,
Got
and
it.
it's like you've had shittier days.
Yeah,
you know, kind
yeah.
of type of deal. Like, you know, you've gone through worse. You'll be okay, bro.
That's fucking cool,
Yeah.
man. Well, that's good, man. I love the positivity from that, especially like, and I love your positivity, man. Thank you very much for showing the stats. Thank you for sharing, for
Yeah.
sure, because I know that's really sentimental, and then for Pau too. So,
Yeah.
thank you very much, man, and thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for being the very first guest.
Yeah, no, of course, bro. Actually, when you told me, I was like, really, me?
You're like,
yeah. I know you had like different plans and stuff like that, but I mean, it's a great feeling, especially
Yeah.
like I said, like on our podcast, on my podcast, like you've been a very great supporter these past few months, and it's really great to be able to connect with people, especially virtually. And then like when you actually end up
Yeah.
meeting them, it's like meeting your hero. Like we were talked about a little bit. It's like, is he gonna be a dick in person?
I'm boring in person now.
Honestly, you don't talk. So
Yeah.
once these mics turn off, like
I'm just
like
like, all right,
crickets.
I gotta go home.
Yeah.
Bye.
You're just like. In reality, it's just me and Pal gonna go get tacos. I'm sorry, though.
I know how I just leave her.
Yeah.
I don't need to take my stuff.
Yeah, you leave all your lights. Just leave your lights.
Yeah, that's it. Just leave
Yeah,
your
I
lights.
don't
Well, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast for Andy Asks, episode 1. I hope that this goes a lot longer. Stay tuned for other guests. For my very first guest, thank you, Mario, very much
Yeah.
for just letting me use your mics and your couch and
Yeah.
your house.
Of course, anytime.
I owe you money for electricity, but it's fine. We'll talk about it with my
Electricity in
accountant.
San Diego is a little bit more expensive than Yuma, so
Oh,
just letting you
I gotta
know.
go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Also, the AC's been running for 5 hours.
Hey, you turned that on halfway. Hey, you told her in the break, turn on the AC. So
No, but thank you again. And I do wish you the best. I know you've been putting in a lot of work into your content. And I know you kind of had like that dry spell of like, am I doing it to please people or am I doing it for myself? So I do see the work that you're putting in. And I know every single creative that you know knows the work that it takes to put out the content that
For
you
sure,
do. But I do wish you the best with the podcast. I know it's going to go great. And thank you for letting me be your first guest.
of course,
I'll write that in my book.
for sure. Oh, heck yeah. I'm going to be in the book now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you watched this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for Tom Cruise to be our next guest. So thank you very much.
I'll definitely be there for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
You can use this couch.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andy.